Hope you're having a good day. Today I'm going to attempt to save this poor little money tree. These money trees, everybody thinks of as houseplants, and up north, of course, they are houseplants. These are actually, they're Malabar chestnut trees. I did read up a little bit on them before posting the video here about how they've been braided for years. This is a tradition started in Taiwan, and then I guess people started keeping them inside as a practice of feng shui, which I guess brings positive energy to a home or something like that. When we bring them and don't, when we leave them in the commercial pot that they're in with no drainage, etc., I'd guess that 99% of them are dead within 6 months. But anyhow, this was given to my mother-in-law maybe anywhere between 6 to 9 months ago. I've been seeing it for a while. I don't even know what they gave it to her for. She's been having some health issues, but it also could have been a Christmas or an Easter gift or something like that. And I saw it sitting inside forever. It really didn't have the worst health, and then just as it was on its last legs, I guess somebody over there finally decided to go ahead and try putting it outside. And then I've been noticing that it's really trying to come back to life. You can see some little sprouts coming out there and everything. And so I just finally spoke up and said something like, I got to take this home and try to save it. It is made up of, I believe, 4 or 5 trunks down here. You can even see where maybe somebody's been picking at it, trying to see if there's any green in there or squishing it or whatever. Pretty sure that one's a dead one, but there are, as I'm looking up here, there's only 2 live ones. I'm going to separate them, unbraid them, see what, I'm going to see what the soil looks like. I'm for sure going to repot it. Untie them. When I was reading up on these, I guess the traditions in Taiwan is it's supposed to be, their little hobby also is like rebraiding as you go up. I am not a fan of braiding things fused together over time, and they will do all right, but I think for the most part it's just not the best for trees. It looks like the dead pieces are for sure just going to kind of fall right out. I probably could have waited to get it out of its pot before I even tried to do this. I was actually just trying to test to see if I could tell which ones are dead, and it's pretty obvious. Oh, and it is just one tree, soaking wet. Part of what well-meaning people have been doing, trying to bring it back to life, is to give it more water. This thing is full of water now, and these come in these decorative pots. This pot has no drainage in it, so you just keep adding water, and it's sitting there in water. And one thing. And my nieces are probably even going to watch this video because it's their grandmother's tree. One of the things that keeps plants alive more than anything is an oxygen exchange and whatnot. And look at all that. It's been sitting in that wet stuff. So I have to get it out of there. I hope that I'm kind of actually somewhat glad, other than I'll just have to give my mother-in-law back the tree once it really does get back to life or whatever. But I'm kind of glad to just see it's one, so I didn't have to worry about like untangling another one. And this has a lot of new growth on it. I'll probably, since I'm repotting it, I'll probably take that off and that off. Actually, I'll go ahead and take these 2 bigger ones off now because it's got new ones starting. And I'll actually take that older one off there too. And now when I go to repot it, it can focus its energy on building new ones. Just pure peat moss. And then down here, I wasn't going to get that rough with it, but down here, they actually have the dead stumps all tied in there together. Glad I did that because I need to cut that off. Yeah, you wouldn't have wanted all that rot staying with it. And almost nothing to it. Look at that. Just a few roots that were sticking out of the bottom. Nothing to it. I'll try not to disturb it any more than that. I will leave that little just ball of peat on there. I was hoping that mix was coarse enough because This, I didn't put a screen in there because I'm going to put it back in this plastic pot without the white one. And this mix is coarse enough to where not much came out of the bottom there, just a couple of little pebbles. And I'm going to try to just set that moss ball. Probably do without that one long root. And there we go. Now when you water it, the water can actually drain out. You never want to have it sitting in any water. All those little pebbles are just worthless. This is actual bonsai soil. Remember that a lot of people, like when they see the soil I use, they say, oh, well, you just use rocks, so I can use like these pebbles like they use in the nursery. River pebbles or river rock or whatever are not the same as lava rock, and either pumice or expanded shale or whatever you want to call it or whatever, all those will hold a little bit of water. Will allow the roots to kind of grip them a little bit and everything. You see, my hands are all dirty. I don't really want to change the camera angle from there too much. There, it's got 2 decent branches. It's even got a little live one spitting out right there. So we'll see what happens. All right, and so here we are, 3 months later now. It's the beginning of July. You know, in hindsight, and again, hindsight's 2020. I should have put it in some kind of a wider pot. I've never grown one of these before. I had no idea that the leaves were going to get this big, this quick. I mean, I knew that the leaves would get this big because I've actually seen the bigger trees for sale. I've seen trees for sale, you know, that are that big. But I didn't know that they would get that big before the trunk actually started really kind of putting on some girth there too. I've actually taken off probably about 10 of these leaves as they got up and that big. I thought it was a little bit of an abnormality. Kind of made the plant a little unsteady. Anyhow, you know, it is nice and recovered. If you know, if you ever get one of these and you live in the tropics, it really does a better job outside. From what I understand, it can take like a light frost, maybe like North Florida, you could also plant it outside, but not too much more than that. I'd like to see statistics one day of maybe how many of these are sold and how many of them wind up dying, because I bet there's a whole lot of dead ones.